I don't know, Mar. You just going to try to win.
Tommy Lee's got postings about his penis. Ladies and gentlemen, good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Ladies and gentlemen, good news, bad news, other shit. Wow. What can I say? We've been away for the summer, and the saga has continued on an almost daily basis. And that's not something we have to tell you. It's something you already knew. Okay? Trump, 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 and more Trump. Lately, the issue with your president is that it's been revealed that through a whistleblower, someone who acts, now when I say whistleblower, I'm actually using it in the new legal sense, which has been defined, because this is part of more recent laws, legislation, statutes that allowed for whistleblowers to come forward and share information supposedly without fear of retaliation. So, because of the whistleblower that came forth, and you already know, we don't need to re-report, the whistleblower stated that in the conversation that with Ukraine, is it president, or prime minister? I'm not sure, but their person of significance that Trump offered at least 8 times to do things for them and requested that they dig up information on Joe Biden's son, so he could use the information against Joe Biden in the upcoming election, because currently that is his biggest contender. So this actually, let me just say again, so this represents our president not only accepting but requesting political favors from a foreign government that he could use against his own political adversary. In fact, leveraging them, extorting Ukraine, who was waiting on a big defense package, much to Putin's chagrin. So Ukraine waiting on this big defense package, and Trump basically saying, I need you to do this thing for me. Now, so if you're waiting on a big package, and someone says, oh, this is just the audio on the speaker. Yeah. We just have it. So the president extorted. And so on behalf of the U.S. government, just go to your sound.
I'm going to get it because hold on a second.
Is your sound over there that's turning on?
I know. I got to get this over here because that's something else I have to update for my segments.
So Vic's we're fixing. Like we said, we have things all day today, so please excuse the technical stuff. So that's what's going on with Trump. Now, more importantly, and really the point of this whole segment as it relates to Trump is not so much to re-report. We know what he's been doing. We know what's been going on. We know about the subpoenas for his tax records. We know about his telling other folks not to testify before the Congress. He's told people and claimed a new form of immunity that anybody who talks to him or even that he decides just has immunity, okay? So all of that. So that is currently the stuff that's going on. So the question remains, and the question of the day is, when are the Dems going to do something? At what point does Nancy Pelosi do something? Now, I got a bunch of friends who, see, it depends how you view impeachment. See, I know a bunch of people who their opinion is, if impeachment does not result in Trump being removed from office, then it's not worth doing. I strongly disagree with that. Let me say it a third time. I strongly disagree with that. I think impeachment is your attempt to hold people accountable, and it should be done whenever they need to be held accountable. I think when you use it in a political way is when you fail, and that's what Pelosi's doing now. I think everybody's tired of it, wondering how much will the Democrats do. If everybody gets to show total contempt of Congress and you do nothing, aren't you part of the problem? Aren't you part of the problem if you do nothing, say nothing, and people could decide whether or not they testify, what they're going to do, whatever they could just say no. Now, as a black man, I'm shocked because I'm sure they would have found a way to put my ass in jail. Okay? Fine me $1 million zillion and put me in jail. But on the other hand, they can't seem to do anything to everybody who totally stands there, damn near pisses in their face. So, I don't know. There's a point at which you do something because it is the thing to be done. And this is why I tend to support a lot of the new freshman leadership. Okay? Because they tend to want to do something as opposed to do nothing. And again, I don't think that having Trump removed from office, being an assured thing, is the criteria for moving for impeachment. So I don't know. Big. How's your stuff and how's your social media going?
It's okay. I'm just kind of looking at some stuff. What they call you adjusting on the fly. You don't do no complaints. You just go all this is stringing down. Remember, my rule is if I know I'm going to talk about it, I'm good. And everybody's going, I have no patience with you if you're going to tell me what's wrong. So, my social media, I should have seen no patience. Patience. Now, the good thing about it is I love it. I'll just tell you about it later. I love iPhones. It's amazing how you can have your web stuff all updated. It comes on your phone, but not on your computers. But I got a plan B. You can't mess with me on fall equinox, bro. Not on the
fall equinox.
I can't mess with me on fall equinox.
I have trouble with the equinox.
There you go.
Anybody out there, I know a bunch of y'all know. Probably Serena knows all about it. The equinox.
See, this is what I'm saying. See, right now, if I started, if somebody says, don't give me this kickoff show, and you're going to tell me about what you got issues with. Don't be bringing that show here. You better make it work.
This ain't Channel 4, damn it. So what do you think this is, BET?
See?
Anyway. So the second topic for today, in the good news, bad news, the other shit, has to do with the recent elections in Israel. And I also put it out there on Facebook that Bibi Netanyahu's situation, where he found himself the subject of a potential criminal indictment, was looking to do an actual Trump move by attempting to stay in office to avoid prosecution. Because they were having the same constitutional issue about bringing charges against a sitting elected official. Right. So Bibi Netanyahu's deal was he was trying to avoid that by getting elected. He didn't make it. And so now you're going to have different leadership in Israel. Now, in Israel, it works a little different. Once it's more of a coalition type of government, so once the votes go in, the power is sort of split up amongst those people, and then they have to negotiate with each other for control.
Yeah.
So he's trying to stay, but he's not going to stay.
Right.
And so I think it also serves as a predictor for Trump. This is another example of one of those Trump-style cronies who's going to have to pay for his ill will and bad deeds. Now he's going to be indicted, and we're going to get a chance to watch that. Okay? Well, it's more to it than that. And that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today, because Israel, because of Netanyahu losing this election, Israel spared themselves a huge, huge controversy, and one that I had tweeted about, talked about, posted about, which was going to really lock them into a no-win situation. Let me explain this to you. Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party were advocates of annexation. Let me explain what that means. They were advocates of taking the land that they had military control over and annexing that land, taking that land, excluded a large part of Palestine. So now they were going to have a bunch of the Palestinian people officially under Israeli land because they were going to take the land. Now, here's the thing. Once the Israelis took that land, they also had all those Palestinians to deal with as citizens or non-citizens.
Right.
You know they didn't want to deal with them as citizens. That left the Israeli government dealing with an issue of setting up a government over Palestine where the Palestinians were there and had no rights. Essentially, apartheid. And again, Israel, the Israeli government, has been singled out for this. Now, I've said before, religious governments are inherently biased. All of them. Whether they're religious, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, religious governments are inherently biased. All of them. The Israeli government was about to find itself where they had a system of apartheid. That was going to be a no-win situation for them, politically, internationally, and lead to political unrest. As it stands, Israel's going to have to wrestle with the idea of what to do about the people who request citizenship or the ability to move freely throughout that country. What are they going to do? So, now we find Israel in a crossroads because things are happening in the Middle East. Things are happening. You have a groundswell again in Egypt. So there's going to be more political rest and struggles against the governments, while the Trump administration is also singling out Iran as a potential military target. It's going to be bad. We just want you to take a deep breath and understand that the recent elections mean that Israel is headed, we think, at least in a better place than they were with Netanyahu. And because we can now attempt to extract from them political goals. In other words, in return for the U.S. supporting the government of Israel, we should have the right to demand certain political goals in the ways that they deal with Palestine. And that is where it comes in. A lot of it had to do with the willingness of the U.S. government to pressure the Israeli government, which we support, which wouldn't be able to exist without our military aid. Well, now that they've already been aided, they have it. But I'm just saying this is the ongoing type of political support.
Excuse me. Who gets credit for it on behalf of the U.S.? What part of the leadership?
Gets credit for what?
Supporting Israel.
I think the whole, based on the Senate and the Congress and their in the past years, the U.S. has pretty much co-signed on whatever they did, right. And to tell you the truth, I don't think it's that the U.S. co-signed. I think we actually directed it in a lot of ways. So these are things they operated as our satellite in the Middle East, and that's what the role that they played was. Now that again continues.
Right.
All right. Now that's the good news and the bad news, and now we got to get to the other shit, because there is some other shit, you guys. First of all, there's a extreme chicken controversy going on right now. As it turns out, somehow Popeyes had posted about their new chicken sandwich. Let's take a look at Popeyes. So here's Popeyes chicken sandwich, okay? And so Chick-fil-A came back with a response about their chicken sandwich, and that started the chicken sandwich wars. Now, what made it crazy is that the Popeyes chicken sandwich is so popular, it has been sold out. I've been trying to get it for a month. I've ordered Popeyes 5 times since the sandwich came out. And their sandwich is not there. It's a $10 supposed to be sandwich. Take a look. And I wish they would make the chicken sandwich out of dark meat, because I would love a boneless thigh chicken sandwich. But the chicken sandwich controversy goes on. Now, I've never had Chick-fil-A. Some people say they love it. Other people told me they thought it was boring. But the Popeye's chicken sandwich is unavailable. We're trying to get it. Now, not to be left out, Jack in the Box, McDonald's, they all have chicken sandwiches. Crispy, broiled, all of that tending to be a little bland. But take a look at the KFC's new Kentucky Fried Chicken and Donuts sandwich, which comes hot. It's chicken between two donuts.
All right. Since you are very up on health and wellness, and a family brought in their daughter and said, we feed her this 3 or 4 times a week. And
she's obese, I assume.
See what I'm just saying?
I'm just saying she's obese.
So I don't even have to set up the scenario. So bottom line is you're going like, she doesn't eat a whole lot, but she likes the donuts and chicken.
You know what?
So what would you tell her?
I would say, first of all, a whole lot is relative. You know, as a physician, you hear a lot of old people who are obese say, well, I don't eat a lot. And I'd say, well, it's still too much. Whatever you're doing, cut it in half.
Okay.
So then that makes it so
just take
what some people call a lot and what other people call a lot.
Right. Just take
they're not the same.
So just take the top part of the donut off and just eat the chicken at the bottom.
First of all, I've lost weight recently. I've lost weight, so I could have me a chicken donut. I don't know about y'all.
He's defending himself.
Maybe you could have a chicken donut.
He's defending himself.
I can have a chicken donut, and I will have it in the interest of science. Purely in the interest of science, I will eat this. And Vic, show him again. Vic. I will eat this donut.
Oh, man.
I will eat this donut purely in the interest of science and to save you all.
Would you eat a kale donut?
No.
Okay. Would you eat a kale chicken sandwich?
Why are you trying to start some shit?
I'm just trying
Kale and donuts are not even in the same league.
All right, bro.
Shouldn't even belong in the same sentence. Okay?
I'm just trying to keep it.
All right. That's the good news.
Okay.